Welcome to the session in which we will discuss about a component of a business plan. In an earlier session, we introduced the concept of a business plan. You may remember that we defined a business plan as a guide which outlines the objectives of a business. It then gives details about what the owner of the business must do to achieve those objectives. A business plan consists of 4 sections or sub-plans. These are called marketing and sales plan, production plan, people plan, and finally financial plan. In this session, we will take a closer look at the first sub-plan of a business plan, that is marketing and sales plan. A marketing and sales plan highlights how to reach target customers and how to sell to them. In short, the plan deals with the forecasted revenues of a business. The plan helps an entrepreneur to consider and answer a set of 10 questions. The answers to each of these marketing and sales questions will need to be written into the business plan. The marketing and sales plan will detail out the approach and where necessary provide numbers that quantify the approach. Let us look at each of these questions in detail now. The first question is, what are the main products and services that the business wants to sell? An entrepreneur often focuses on products or services she is good at making and selling. Is this enough? No. She must understand what potential customers need and what they are willing to pay. In the example of a grocery shop, the owner must think of those 3 or 4 products on which local households spend the most money in a month. Second question is, who are the target customers for these products and services? Now, a business can have many potential customers. However, all potential customers should not be treated as target customers. So, how would an entrepreneur select target customers? By identifying those customers who are likely to buy more products and who are likely to pay a higher price. Next question is, what is the market size for these products and services? A business must try and understand the market size for products and services. Why is this required? Because this will give the business a good estimate of how many customers they could possibly attract in the new business. We must remember that while most small businesses sell in their locality, sometimes there may be customers from other towns. It is important to include them in estimation of the market size or share. Fourth and fifth question focus on understanding the competition. The proposed new business will need to study its competitors. Once the information on competitors is known, the business will have a better idea on what products and services to sell and how to price these products and services. Now, new businesses often have to sell their products and services at a price slightly below the competitor's price to attract customers. The fifth question, therefore, is what are some of the good things that our competitors do with respect to these products and services? Can we do something similar or better? It is difficult but not impossible to offer products and services that are better than those sold by the competitors. To do this, the entrepreneur must think of ways to offer better products or services at the same or slightly lower price. In the example of a grocery shop, the store can offer a small biscuit packet free if a customer buys groceries of value more than Rs 200. The sixth question highlights the need to consider market share. The overall market size is likely to be divided roughly equally as market share among the competing businesses. Hence, it is a good idea for an entrepreneur to analyze market share for each product and service she offers. The seventh question is how to inform potential customers to let them know about our products and services. This relates to communication. New businesses can put up posters in busy locations such as the center of the town. This would help in informing the potential customers about the products or services of the business. But these days, entrepreneurs must also use social media such as text messages, emails, etc. to reach more and more potential customers. The next consideration is about customer credit policies. Hence, the question is, what are the enterprise's customer credit policies and what is their justification? What is dues collection plan? When do we write off overdue amount as bad debt? A new business often needs to offer a longer credit period to attract potential customers. But one needs to be careful about how much credit to give to which customer. In the example of a small grocery shop, the owner will not be in a position to offer credit to customers. Instead, she can offer a small discount on the cash payment to avoid having to give credit. For certain big order customers, the business owner may offer a combination of 50% upfront and remaining 50% payment after 2 weeks for the large orders. The ninth question is, considering our products and services, target customers and the competitors, which sales channels are effective for us? When considering a sales channel, the business must understand how easy and effective it will be to use the channel to sell to customers. It is also about being able to sell high volumes through a channel for it to be effective. Let's consider an example here. For a production business such as a snack selling business, selling items in an exhibition can be very effective because families are likely to come to exhibitions. Younger and older members of families are likely to be interested in different snacks. So, if the business offers different types of snacks, then it can use the business sales channel to attract more customers and increase its revenues. Last question follows from the ninth question and asks, what is our sales plan? Which means how much of which products and services should we sell, when, through which channels and at what prices. A sales plan must be realistic. Hence, the volumes should be in line with the expected market shares and the nature of the business. Any seasonality in the business should be planned for. Why must a sales plan be realistic? Because the marketing and sales plan will drive all aspects of the business operations. You may remember from the session on the overview of a business plan that the 4 sections are connected to each other. This means a change in one section may cause a change in another section. An entrepreneur must begin with marketing and sales plan and then go to the production plan. While working on the production plan, if she realizes that something in the marketing and sales plan needs to change, she should go back to that plan and make the changes. Hence, the process of preparing a business plan is an iterative process. We will understand this more in other sessions. In short, a marketing and sales plan is the first and important component of a business plan. The plan can be prepared by answering 10 questions. The plan will detail out the approach and where necessary, provide numbers that quantify the approach for marketing and sales. An unrealistic plan can have an adverse effect on other sections of the business plan. This will affect the overall health of a business.